Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you read the title right. There is a second Warlock video in the same week. That's nuts, I know. But the first time, we talked about the Soul Weaver Paragon, the healing changes, and all that jazz. But this time, we are going to be talking about the DPS Paragon. Now, the DPS Paragon didn't have as many changes as the healing one did, but there were enough that I felt it warranted a separate video. And so here we are. I'm just gonna jump right in. Oh god. I'm just gonna jump right into it because I don't have anything else to say for once. Okay, so as per usual, we will start with the mechanics and then go top to bottom. Now, Hellbringer Warlock does not have any additional mechanics, but their Soul Spark mechanic has been adjusted a little bit, and they have something called Hellfire Expertise, which is new, so I don't know why I said they didn't have any new mechanics. Whatever. So, Soul Sparks, the only thing that has been changed about them is that their damage increase went from being 0.25% per Soul Spark down to 0.15%. I don't know why, but it is, so there you go. Now, Hellfire Expertise is something that's kind of like general about the whole Paragon, because your powers focus on the power of Hellfire. Right, so your recharge speed is increased by 20%, and then you gain Soul Sparks on critical strikes now. The Eldritch Blast power generates 1 Soul Spark for each enemy that you hit, and then Dark Aura Spiral also generates 1 Soul Spark for each spiral that you use. However, it's not called Dark Aura Spiral anymore. It had a rename. It's now called Dark Helix. The magnitudes of it are still the same as the Dark Aura Spirals. I really don't like that name, so I'm glad it was renamed. But you used to gain, I'll call it a Helix just to keep with the new name. You used to gain a Helix whenever a cursed enemy just dies in general, but now you only gain one whenever you kill an enemy. Okay, so now Arms of Hadar. It wasn't really changed necessarily, it still appears to work the exact same, but it affects a cylinder instead of a cone. So the actual area that's been affected hasn't been changed a whole lot. Just thought you might want to know. Now, Vampiric Embrace, we know it was changed in the Healing Paragon, but it was also changed a little bit in the DPS Paragon as well. It used to only give you 50% of your damage dealt as healing HP for you, and it also only used to give you temp HP equal to 50% of what you stole from it. But now it absorbs all the damage that you deal as HP, so it's going to be a bigger heal for you. And also, if you consume a curse whenever you use it, it doubles the amount of hit points that you absorb. So, it's basically just a bigger self-heal. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, Blades of Vanquished Armies. It works similar. I believe it works the same as it does on the other Paragon, but we're talking about it anyways because not all of you are Warlock healers. So before it was something that you just cast and it would automatically be around yourself and it would do damage to them, you would gain deflection, and then if you had cursed enemies, the blades would just be like, hiya, and fling themselves at the dudes. But now it's something that you can either target onto a party member or yourself, and it reduces the damage taken by whoever is targeted by 5%, and then it deals damage, 100 magnitude damage over time to enemies who are within a small range of whoever is targeted. So that could be yourself, or it could be your tank, or whoever, basically. And then if the enemies are cursed, it will do 50% more damage to them. Okay, so you might be looking at this and notice that some things were moved around. That is true. So Dread Theft and Curse Bite swapped places, so now Dread Theft is in the universal side, and then Curse Bite is only for Hellbringers because only Hellbringers have Curse now. So now Infernal Spheres. As far as I can tell, this is something that was not used very much before. I didn't play a ton of DPS Warlock, but I played enough to kind of figure out what I hated using. And this was kind of one of them, but it was changed to be at least a little bit more interesting in my opinion. Previously, you had 6 spheres and it replenished 1 every 5 seconds. It would do 40 magnitude damage per sphere, and then you would gain 1,000 defense per sphere as well, and it would just have a chance to curse the enemies. Like, I don't know, maybe I feel like cursing you, maybe not. But now, you still have 6 spheres. It will damage people who attack you, and the damage is 50 magnitude per sphere, so it's up 10. But instead of gaining the defense for the spheres, you just gain a flat 5% damage bonus. And then the Seeking Spheres action, like whenever you actually activate it again and they go boom, that's 350 magnitude. Okay, now that is actually it for encounters. All the rest of them are the same. But dailies, there have been 2 changes. One very minor is just a rename. Accursed Souls is now called Soul Siphon, just the same as the Healing Paragon. However, it just does the damage and summons a soul puppet. It doesn't have any of the healing that the other Paragon does. And the only other thing that was changed here is Brood of Hadar, which is a little bit different. And by a little bit, I mean just a little bit. Previously, it would do a 4-second slow to the enemy, and now it just does a 2-second stun. But everything else is still the same. Okay, so in class features, Dark Prayers and Flames of Empowerment have swapped, so Flames of Empowerment is now universal, both Paragons can use it, and Dark Prayers is only for Hellbringer. But the actual effects of each of the class features have not changed. Also, in class features, All-Consuming Curse and Dust to Dust have swapped too. So Dust to Dust is now in the universal, so either Paragon can have their 5% damage bonus, and All-Consuming Curse is only for Hellbringer because Hellbringers are the only ones that have Curse. Kind of makes sense. But just like the other set that swapped, the actual effects of those class features have not changed. Okay, now Dark One's Blessing is the only class feature that actually changed its effects. So previously, whenever one of your cursed dudes die, you would gain 1 soul spark and then you would get a heal for 1% of your max HP. But now, when any enemy dies by you, whenever you kill the enemy, you gain 6 soul sparks and then you get a 5% heal, 5% max HP heal. And it has a 10-second internal cooldown, so it can only happen every 10 seconds. Which I don't know if that really makes it any better. Then again, I don't play a ton of damage Warlock, so I suppose I wouldn't know. Okay, so feats, there were 2 changes here. The first one being Double Scorch in the first feat in the first section. It used to increase the damage over time of Soul Scorch by 10%, but now it causes each Soul Spark in Soul Scorch to deal an additional 9 magnitude damage. And the last feat change and the last change in general is Power of the 9 Hells, which is also in this first section. And it used to cause daily powers to give you 12 soul sparks, which was pretty lame. And now it causes encounters that don't have Curse Consume or Curse Synergy to spawn soul puppets. So that's just kind of a nice other way to spawn soul puppets now. Okay, so that is actually everything for Hellbringer Warlock. Like I said, it's not as much, but the changes were enough that I felt like I could put them in a separate video rather than trying to shove them in somewhere else. There will not be a video for Arbiter Cleric, Justicar Paladin, or Rogues, either Paragon of Rogues, because there were no changes to those. I haven't checked any of the other classes yet, but I know I saw a couple of people asking about Barbarians. I will check them as well, and if there are changes, there will be a video for them, because that just kind of makes sense. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching or listening or whatever. I hope you like watching my horse breathe fire. I'm still curious how I have not personally burned to death sitting on this horse. But, I mean, I guess it's just some kind of magic voodoo nonsense. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave now. Okay, bye.